Let's take a look at Tuesday. There are 6 games on in the NBA. Who are the stream option? Who's in? Who's out? What are we watching for? Michael Bolton, I'm watching you.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and the only good hot cross bun is the one that doesn't have chocolate. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app, use the code LOCKEDONNBA, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Also, check out LockedOnDaily.com for your team's favorite team's newsletter. That's the way to go. And then double bang this: audio, video, thumb, and comments. All right, there are 6 games on Tuesday. As we know, a very light week this week. Let's take a look at the games, the 6 of them that are on. The things that we need to pay some attention to, who's in, who's out, and of course, all that stuff's always going to be fluid. We're always going to be adjusting based on news that comes in. So let's start off with that first game, to see what's on our radar for it. We're talking about, which game is it? As I've just lost my little place there. That's okay. It is the Cavs and the Celtics. Big one. Big game here. Cleveland, of course, 15-0. Boston, the best team in the NBA. Well, maybe they're not the best team in the NBA. Maybe it's the team that hasn't lost yet. This will be a big test, and it'll be very interesting to see what goes on in this one. The Celtics are 5-point favorites here at home. Both teams have 3 games this week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday for Cleveland, and Tuesday, Friday, Sunday for Boston. And they both have 3 in week 6. Who's out? Well, we know that the Winter Soldier, Max Strus, is out. That is confirmed. And then we had a bunch of other players that we weren't sure about: Isaac Okoro, Sam Merrill, and Dean Wade. But in the last minute or so, we did get some updates there. And what we do get is that Dean Wade is out. Okoro is officially questionable. Sam Merrill is officially questionable. And then from the top rope, we get old mate Karis LeVert on the injury report as a questionable tag. So it's all of their 2s and 3s. They're either, Wade's not a 2, he's a 3-4. But everyone who plays those positions is in real strife of not being available. So that's an interesting one. We get the return of Donovan Mitchell in this game. He missed the last one. Kristaps Porzingis is out. And then Peyton Pritchard appeared on the injury report with what was, what are they calling, a thumb sprain. So if he is out, it's going to be more Slam and Sammy Hauser. And then the guard depth is pretty bad. It's going to be a lot more staggering of Derek White and Drew Holiday and some Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum running the point. I guess I don't think we're going to see any J.D. Davison in there. Drew Holiday did miss a game over the weekend, but he's fine and ready and rocking and ready to go. On the Cavs side of things, I did want to see Karis LeVert because he stunk last game. He played a lot of minutes, but now he's on the injury report. So was that a part of it? I don't know. And then Drew Holiday, who has been very disappointing for most of the season. The defensive stats haven't been there. The usage has been down. We've seen a bit of a turnaround from Drew of late. Still don't think he's a must-in points, but for categories, you probably do want him. And for stream guys, I am going to look at Milk. Ty Jerome, he has got an opportunity to get some extra minutes. Now, he's not really a 3 or a 2, but if we have Okoro and Wade and Merrill and Strus and LeVert all out, well, we're going to get a lot more Milk. So he would become an option. He's been shooting the absolute lights out. That will not stick all the time. But when the opportunity rises, you take more of that risk. And then on the Celtics side of things, Neemias Queta continues to get those minutes, the old Pastel Tanata, the 20 minutes off the bench, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, whatever he gets there, a block, big field goal percentage. The upside's low if Horford is playing, but you're going to get a little bit there, and he continually gets the minutes over Tillman and over old mate Luke Kornet. The second game we're talking about is the Charlotte Hornets and the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. The Nets are actually favorites in this one by 2.5 points. Schedule-wise, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for Charlotte into a 4-game week 6, and Brooklyn is Tuesday, Friday, Sunday into 4 games. We already know that BDNR, Nick Richards, is out. Mark Williams is out. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? What else would we expect? And Daquan Jeffries is out. Trey Mann is officially questionable, while for the Nets, it's Day'Ron Sharpe, it's Nick Claxton, it's Bojan Bogdanovic, all out, while Isaiah Williams and Dorian Finney-Smith are both listed as probable. On the Hornets side of things, I want to watch Grant Williams and by extension Moussa Diabate, because last game we got a lot of Grant Williams. and not much Moussa Diabate. We have seen many times this season that centers, not always good ones, have put up big numbers against the Brooklyn Nets. They are not going to be having anyone big, like literally anybody big at all, because they're only playing like Watford and Clowney like 13 minutes, and they're not even that big. So Charlotte should feel, well, there's two ways to look at it. And I think the first way is probably the right one, is that Charlotte won't feel a need to go super big out there, and Grant can play his small ball center and do his thing because he's got no one big to match up against. Or you could look at the other way and go, well, Brooklyn's got no one big, so do we throw our bigger guy out there in Diabate and try and pound them with size? And that's what she said. But also, I don't think that is what they're going to do. Given what we saw last game, I wouldn't write Diabate off, but he's at least someone to consider as a stream guy, and I would prefer Grant over him. On the net side of things, it was a red-hot start for Dennis Schroeder, and now he's bad again. Wow. Let's see what he's able to do. Are we able to? The shooting was always going to cool off, but what happened? He was getting like absolutely sky-high usage, and that's changed. So does that come back? Or does he just sit at this middling number instead of like 30 usage or 29 usage, whatever it was? Does he go back and start playing or start getting, the 22 or 21 and more ball sharing that goes on? In terms of streams, Trey Mann has missed two of the last 3 games, and Josh Green's been really good. I don't feel super good about Josh Green continuing to be good, but the minutes are there. The potential roll out of elevation is there if Mann misses. So yeah, he's interesting enough. And then you could throw Grant in there. You could throw Diabate in there as well. And then it's Dorian Finney-Smith on the net side. He continues to be very, very lowly rostered. And with Claxton out, he's going to do more. He might get you 10 points, 2 threes, 2 blocks, 7 rebounds. I don't know if that's for everybody, but it's at least something on a day like this when you've only got the 6 games on. So your options are a lot more limited. The third game of the day is Denver going into Memphis. No spread available for this one because there's a pretty big question mark about one of the players. We'll talk about that in a sec. But Denver is a Tuesday, Friday, Saturday team this week into 3 games in week 6. So a bit light on for the Nuggets over the next 2. While Memphis goes Tuesday, that FWE is not supposed to have an F there, just a rogue F for Wednesday. But we're fine. Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday into 4 games in week 6. So who is out? Aaron Gordon is out. And the thing we don't know is Big Chungus. Nikola Jokic has missed the last 2 games for personal reasons. Everything's okay. He's fine. We think he's a chance to return here. I would put him closer to probable than questionable, but don't know. If he is out, it's Dario Saric, who's been getting those minutes, and he's at least worth a stream look there. And on the Grizzlies, it's no Demetrius Morant. It's no Gregory Jackson. I don't think that Zach Edey's going to play. He sprained his ankle. He had to be helped off the court. He sprained it twice, actually, in the game on Sunday. He could play, but at the moment, without an official injury update on it, I'm going to label Edey as doubtful. And Marcus Smart missed the last game with an illness. He's had a lot of those, hasn't he? I'll keep him as questionable for this one, Smart. And then obviously, if he is out and Edey is out, it opens a bunch of stuff for guys like Huff and Clark and LaRavia and Pippen and maybe a little bit more of Aldama, who's obviously seen the numbers drop recently. I'm going to watch Peyton Watson on the Nuggets because he was playing 38 minutes a night. And the last 2, he played 29. Was that because Malone has gone a different direction? Was that because they were blowouts and Jokic wasn't playing and Watson needs to be unlocked by Jokic? I don't know. That's why we watch it. And on the Memphis side of things, Scott Pippen, who's been playing really well, obviously. It continues to be a thing that, like, I just keep in my head. I don't keep it in my head because I actually tell you guys about it. That the fact that all these guys are out and we still get 26 minutes of Pippen makes me think that he's not going to be able to maintain value rest of the season. Because if he's not rolling BJ Boston style and getting 36 a night with everyone out, he's still getting 25 and 26. And then you get the problem that when Morant is there and Edey's playing and less so GG and Smart's there, like, is Pippen going to do enough? Is 22 enough? Almost definitely not. So we just watch to see how the distribution of minutes goes here. In terms of streams, like if Watson's available, you do him. Otherwise, I liked what I saw from Julian Stroud the last game, or Saric if Jokic is out. And I'd probably look at Huff the Magic Dragon, old Jay Huff, the big fella, in Memphis. If Edey is out, as I expect, you could go with Brandon Clark for starting purposes and maybe a bit more security. But if Huff gets 20 minutes, he's going to be a pretty big smash option, I think, in that sort of setting. We've got the other games to come back and talk about, and we will do exactly that. But first of all, today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars. That's a B. Billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. All you do is you pick more or less on 2 or more individual player projections, and that's it. Bang. You can go up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's the best way to get that action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. And with as little as 4 picks, you can win up to 100 times your money on there. They've also got the flex play, which means that you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. So go ahead and download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right. Let's get into the next bunch of these games. I might just do a quick injury update news scan to see if anything else has come through here. No, I just got the Dean Wade out, which I mentioned. Just for stuff that's not related to today, Scotty Barnes is being reevaluated tomorrow. We talked about that on the injury show earlier today, saying I think there might be a return this week, and it does feel like that's going to happen. The next game is the New Orleans Pelicans up against the Dallas Mavericks. Not much of a change there on the Pelicans side of things. In terms of schedule, though, we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday for the Pels into 4 games in Week 6, and Dallas is Tuesday, Friday, Sunday into 4 games. Zion's out, CJ's out, Murray's out, Hawkins is out, Jones is out, Alvarado is out. DeJounte is doing some practice, but not yet cleared for contact. I still think that there's a return maybe next week coming for DeJounte Murray, maybe Herb, maybe CJ as well. Maybe Hawkins too. And then we had Luka Doncic miss the last game for Dallas. There hasn't been an update. Oh, no, there has. There's been an official update on his status now. He is officially questionable for this game. And with him out, they started Quentin Grimes last game. And you know that just more usage funnels than other spots. It doesn't seem to go to Clay. But Grimes gets a bid and PJ Washington's able to do quite a bit in that spot as well. On the Pelicans, I just want to keep watching Yves Missi. And that brings us back to the Scottie Pippen point. Like, everyone's out here. Missi's having an opportunity to start. The minutes are okay, but usage doesn't go up. He's not blocking shots. He's doing very, very mid things. And I think when all these guys come back, and part of our problem with the Pelicans in the preseason, we go, man, look at these players. They don't have centers. Someone's going to have to play centers, Zion and Herb, and they're going to do that when these guys eventually return and go small. So what is Missi going to do? Like, nothing is probably the answer. So I need to see like something start to improve, because at the moment he's sort of just floating around. In terms of the Dallas side, PJ was awesome last game, but you know what? I don't care. I mean, I do care enough that he's got to be rostered, but I want to see a year of consistency from this guy, and I'm not going to, but I want to see it before I feel confident in saying that he's going to consistently do something, because, you know, it's PJ Washington. We've seen this for a long time. In terms of stream guys on New Orleans, there's a few of them. You can look at Javonte Green, you can look at Jalen Noel, you can go to Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Obviously, BJ Boston's rostered everywhere. Yves Missi's another one, but just depending on if he's available. And on the Mavs, I probably do go to Najee Marshall, although I would look to Quentin Grimes if Luka does in fact get ruled out. The Thunder and the Spurs, Chet versus Wemby. Oh no, it's not. It's Zach Collins versus Aaron Wiggins, I guess, or Jalen Williams. What are we looking at schedule-wise? The Thunder they're about to start their stupid schedule. They played Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's it. And then they go to 4 games in Week 6, while the Spurs are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday into 3 in Week 6. Hartenstein's out. Chet is out. Pig Williams is out. Isaiah Joe left last game early, and he is out as well. But Alex Caruso does return. And then for the Spurs, Sohan is out. Wembanyama is doubtful. And Devin Vassell, who sat the last game on his return from foot surgery, he will return. On the Thunder, I could say I want to watch Wiggins, I want to watch Wallace, and I want to see AJ Mitchell. But I know it's going to happen. It's going to be a frustrating up and down experience all the time. I want to see what goes on with Dylan Jones, because we saw some extra minutes funneled his way last game. Is that real? Is he a 12-minute guy? Will they push him to 16? Almost definitely not. But let's see, yeah? I want to see if they make any changes there, because they sort of minimized Usman Jeng, and we did get more Dylan Jones there. And that's a deeper league one for you guys, the old Triple Onyx, Marble, Platinum, Diamond level players. Steph Castle on the Spurs. He's just sort of doing stuff. It's a bit Yves Missi-like. Guys are out. And he's still just humming along. Like, it's borderline okay. And when we see Vassell's minutes rise and Sohan and Wemby play, I have no chance that he's going to do anything good enough to remain holdable, Castle. But for now, he's at least worth streaming. In terms of other guys, Aaron Wiggins is just available everywhere. And I get why he is, but he is actually doing enough to be 12-team streamable. And then one of the key ones is Zach Collins. Zach Collins cooked last game for the Spurs. He's going to be up against nobody really in terms of big man in this game. Charles Bassey is probably the backup, along with Sandro Mamakhalishvili. But Collins is the one you want, and you look to stream him in this situation as long as Wembanyama remains sitting on the sidelines. The next game, which is in fact the last game of the day, it's the Utah Jazzmen, the worst team in the NBA currently, up against the Lakers. No, that's not how you say it. It's the LA Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Lakers of Los Angeles. They are 11-point favorites, the Lakers here. The schedule goes both the same for both teams. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for the Jazz and the Lakers, into 4 games in week 6. I don't have the update on Walker Kessler and his hip bursitis, whether he's going to be available to play or not. I'd probably lean sort of B's dick towards doubtful, but I don't know. And then for the Lakers, we know that the Crucifix is out, Christian Wood, Jared Vanderbilt is out, Jackson Hayes is out, and then Rui Hachimura and Cam Reddish are both questionable. Now, Hachimura didn't practice, but Reddish did. And then Jalen Hood-Schifino they don't even update whether he's available or not. That's how little they care from their first-round pick from last year, who's played 0 seconds this season. On to the Jazz. What do I want to watch? Well, I don't want to watch it because it's actually ugly, but it's Keyonte George. And it is distinctly possible. I'm not going to proclaim this 80 games into someone's career. He might be terrible. That is possible. I don't think he is. We've seen some flashes of being good and he's still learning things, but man, holy crap, it's been useless. Isaiah Collier replaced him at halftime of last game. I do like Collier as a prospect. The problem is he's a worse shooter than George. He's probably a more in-control shooter, but he's worse. What he is a much better passer, though. So I want to see what they do. I don't imagine they'll bench Keyonte George, but we'll see. And then on the Lakers, Dalton Knecht started the last game. He's had really 3 strong games in a row. They're marginalizing D'Angelo Russell. Hopefully they're marginalizing Cam Reddish. And with Hachimura out, we got more from Knecht. I think he's worth a stream to see what they do and how it goes. Because again, we always look for opportunity. We go, wow, what if Rui and Reddish return? And your response should be, yeah, who cares? They're not good enough to be absolutely just locked in. They have to hold that position. If you were saying, yeah, Knecht's replacing LeBron, probably not going to hold that spot when LeBron returns. Not that LeBron's out, of course. That's an obvious one. That's an easy thing to look at. It's when you're talking about a guy, well, yeah, just watch out for the big return of Hachimura. That shouldn't scare you. Again, not saying that Knecht's going to hold the job or that he's even going to be a great fantasy player, but there's a little bit more opportunity given the guys that are in front of him. In terms of stream, guys, I will stream or will consider streaming Isaiah Collier. Maybe he plays the 25 minutes. Maybe you get 6 assists with a pair of steals and 10 points on 1% shooting. I don't know. But at least he's sort of featuring in. By the way, if Kyle Filipowski is available, first of all, if John Collins is available, you do that. He's obviously been dominating. Filipowski's the next one, and that's the other thing we're going to watch. If Kessler does play, is it Collins or Filipowski that goes to the bench? That'd be very interesting to see. And then for the Lakers, who you're streaming? Cam Reddish? Probably Christian Koloko if you're just looking for a rebound and blocks guy. But yeah, I think we're all well aware that that's not going to get anyone's loins quivering. We'll come back with some streams of the day, some little schedule play stuff as well. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, customers can bet $5. You know what you get? $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. In the middle of the game, you're watching it, and something like you get the light bulb, the old cartoon light bulb goes off. You go, I saw it. I saw something. That's an interesting trend. Let's open up the app. And in the past, you're back in the olden days of 2007, 9, 17, 20, whatever year it is. Who cares? We're in the future. We are future-facing legends over here. We're right there. We open it up and we see it all there. The bets, the stats, the play-by-play, all in one spot, shaving literal seconds from your life. Easy to do, easy to place the bets. All the information you need is there. So when you place that first $5 bet, and it wins, you get your $150 in bonus bets from FanDuel. Thank you, FanDuel. Great gift. Well done. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, now we could take a look at some of the ways that we can manipulate, play around with the calendar. see what else we can do here. No, we're not adding an extra month in. We're just seeing how we can work through the little things that the NBA throws at us. What about the back-to-backs, Tuesday to Wednesday? Who are some players that we can stream in that are available in a lot of different spots that gives us that little 2-for-1 boost? Aaron Wiggins and Cason Wallace. There is no Isaiah Joe. Don't know if he misses both. No idea. Don't even know if Caruso will play both of these games, but Wiggins and Wallace are going to benefit. Then deeper leagues, you go to AJ Mitchell and you go to, say, a Dylan Jones. Karis LeVert I had there, but you know what? He might not play, so be cautious with that one. Brandon Clark and Jay Huff are on this list. Yves Missy's here. Javonte Green, Jalen Noel, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl for the Pelicans also. If we take a look at the chunky section, I know that you've always looked up the chunky section, usually incognito mode, but now we're going to look at the chunks for fantasy. Tuesday through to Saturday, the next 5 days, who's got 3 games? Well, it's my mate, Pat Williams, the NBA's worst player, but he does have a starting role for now, and we'll see what he can do, because he clearly stunk in the last game, but the last few before that was strong. 3 games in 5 nights is enough for me to hold just to see what happens before I reconfirm my prize that he's terrible. Peyton Watson's also got the 3 games in 5 nights. Tamani Kamara, the Magic, along with Mo Wagner and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And then in Charlotte, you go to Grant Williams and, of course, Musa Diabate. What was I going to say? I was going to have a nickname for him and then I lost it. But, we'll come back with one of those at some point in the future. Maybe I'll think of it as we're recording here. Let's take a look now at streaming. Maybe another incognito mode legend for you. Let's take a look at the 10-team streamer of the day. We're talking Ben Simmons, who is, yes, widely available, and yes, he's not a must-roster player, but on a day like this, you can get 8 assists out of someone with 7 rebounds. I think you've got to look at it. Aaron Wiggins is my 12-team guy. Zach Collins, I've got for 14, but honestly, Zach is a 10-team stream as well. These are just guys that fit the cutoffs in terms of the percentages I'm using here. Cason Wallace is the 16-team stream of the day. And then for Yahoo Points, let's go Peyton Watson. And for ESPN Points, let's go for Aaron Wiggins. You know how this section works for you category league guys. We'll start with the 10-team streamers. We've got Ben Simmons, Aaron Wiggins, Zach Collins, Cason Wallace, and then Goldfinger himself, Charlie Bassey, is on here. In 20 minutes, this man can go 12, 11, 3 blocks, hit a 3, get 2 assists, and be a 10-team league player. So I know that he's a guy that you Onyx, Diamond, Marble, Platinum, Titanium level players are already well ahead of. But Charles Bassey's going to be someone, just as the sneaky little, let's see what happens, that you could stream in as a 18-minute, 20-minute backup. And then Alex Caruso, this is where we take advantage of it. No Isaiah Joe. Caruso returns, 6 games on. We stream him in. We get 3 blocks, 2 steals, 0 points. Pretty standard from the Rabbit Hunter, but he's on our radars there. For 12-teamers, look at that 10-team list. Use any of those players. And then we go to this next group. We go to the Pastel Tanata, Nemeash Cater, Brandon Clark, and Jay Huff, along with Vince Williams, who I think is probably worth a 12-team ad just in general. And I think he will become the starter on this team, although he wasn't very good yesterday, and it might be a little bit choppy at first. And if you don't want to do it, totally reasonable, because we understand that Vince's numbers last season came because of everyone being out. I think he's good enough to maintain a role, but we'll find out. Who cares? Stream him in this one. And then there is Dorian Finney-Smith for the Nets and Najee Marshall, whose value would probably rise a little bit if Luka Doncic does happen to be sidelined. Plus, they're playing the Pelicans, who are a relatively small team. For deeper league guys, Sam Hauser, who's probably going to get more shots up if Peyton Pritchard is out, Jalen Noel and Javonte Green for New Orleans. Got Zaire Williams there. And then you go to the desperation stakes of Cody Martin and Josh Green, who might combine for 10 points. But, Green's been a lot better than that lately. But the minutes, the role are there. They can generate some steals and a couple of assists. And it's just enough that when you're talking deep league stuff, someone who's got a role is going to be important on a 6-game day. If we look to stream the Yahoo Points, I'm using a 45% or below cutoff, as well as someone who's not sitting at 99% on our advanced metric and Basketball Monster. We'll start with Peyton Watson, Aaron Wiggins, Ben Simmons, and Zach Collins. Really strong streams, all 4 of those guys. And then there's Brandon Clark and Cason Wallace. Of course, the Brandon Clark and Jay Huff stuff is me assuming that Zach Edey is sidelined. And if Edey plays, well, the value of those guys drops pretty significantly. And lastly, we go across to ESPN point scoring formats. A similar list. It's Aaron Wiggins, Ben Simmons, Peyton Watson, Cason Wallace, Brandon Clark, and lastly, big Zach Collins. And that is a Tuesday preview in the NBA. Injury updates, streaming updates, what to watch for. All of that stuff, which I hope that you guys enjoyed. And if you did enjoy it, tell me. Leave it in the comments. Thumb it up as well. Subscribe, listen on audio, watch on video. And of course, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya. Post-credit scene. Zach Edey has been ruled out officially. Thanks. See ya.